Steady now.
Throughout generations of gaming, difficulty has remained an interesting and divisive topic of discussion. From the brutal days of 8-bit titles to a more approachable curve around the 7th generation of consoles and beyond, with the likes of Dark Souls and Cuphead offering a new kind of challenge, it provides an interesting and constantly changing base. While a high difficulty can be both appealing and unwelcoming to some, there remains a fine line between fairness and frustration. It's one thing to have your skills tested, but when a game's design sees you losing unjustly, it becomes less enticing to try again. Sadly, Vanishing Point would fall into this category, a pristine arcade racer let down by some awkward design, cheap AI, and frustrations aplenty. The second racer from Clockwork Games, after Speedster offered a Micro Machines alike with real cars in 1997, Vanishing Point can be best described as an arcade racer with the customization of a simulation. Races see you competing against the clock, with the preset time to beat. Not only is traffic a potential obstacle to slow you down, but also rival AI who seemingly aren't competing with you, especially as they often teleport in front of you, but will have no qualms in trying to take you out. The handling also proves quite the obstacle to overcome, with cars prone to sliding even with moderate amounts of steering. While arcade racers are known for less realistic handling, this system definitely takes some time to acclimatise to, but it can still be satisfying to skid around corners and cut down your time. Sadly, some noticeable issues hamper the racing. Rival AI is often incredibly aggressive, showing no qualms in driving into both you and traffic, and you might even find the latter becomes an issue when traffic, in the process of correcting their drive path, hits you. The physics engine is another huge issue. To be blunt, cars feel lighter than a balloon, and crashing can see your car reacting in bizarre fashion. Sometimes, vehicles will flip over when driving over a slightly raised part of the road, such as on a motorway track. While you can reset your vehicle at will, it penalises several seconds before restoring your car. The combination of these elements turn racing into an even harder ordeal, with the player often struggling to reclaim top position after even a minor crash, and if you flip over your car, you may as well restart the race. At least, when you can. See, Vanishing Point is also undercut by some odd design choices that cause further stress. At the beginning of the game, you only gain access to 2 cars, and to say they handle badly would be an understatement. You can imagine most players likely stopped at this hurdle, as trying to manage poor vehicles while dealing with aggressive AI and jumpy physics is a nightmare. But this is tied to the unlock system, which requires you to beat each stage of the tournament mode. Vehicles all come with 3 tournament stages, and earning first on them gives a slew of new rewards. The car roster grows. Customization parts let you tweak the vehicle's handling, and often tame these sliding beasts, and bonuses like tracks and movies also unlock. The problem is that tournament races only let you restart on the first race, meaning if the AI causes you to crash on the second or third event, you can lose out on a first position and waste time. In other words, the unlock system turns the game into an uphill battle, and less committed players will likely tap out long before unlocking the best parts of this racer. It's a shame because Vanishing Point proves quite content rich. You can partake in single races, with wins unlocking each of the 8 tracks and their reverse and mirror counterparts. It lacks the pressure of tournament and proves a good way to learn the courses, Stunt Mode, a sort of goofier side similar to Crazy Taxi's challenges, offer a list of tasks which reward more points depending on how close you get to the target time. It often puts the weirder physics to good use, such as a gauntlet of barrel roll jumps. You can also unlock the Clockwork Games Rally, a series of time trials which require skill to master. But with no traffic or AI, the challenge feels much fairer. There's also multiplayer, with 2-player racing offering unique courses to race on, and you can even unlock these tracks for use in time trial. For those who stick with it, Vanishing Point could be spinning in your Dreamcast for a while. The presentation is also ace, a fine showcase for Sega's last console. Vanishing Point runs smoothly at a blistering 60 frames per second, capturing the sense of speed arcade technology often provided. But the visual quality is also impressive, with detailed car models which reflect with gorgeous lighting, bringing to life each of the main 16 cars. There's also a slew of secret vehicles, including some traffic cars, and these look great too. Tracks also look excellent, with sturdy textures and some cool little details such as hot air balloons flying overhead or trains passing by. The audio is great too, with engine sounds varying between the eclectic mix of cars, such as the roaring engine of the Shelby Cobra. The soundtrack is also quite engaging, definitely something of a holdover from the electronic era of the PlayStation, with tracks which can generate tension and excitement in equal measure. Vanishing Point ultimately proves a frustrating game. Not only in the sense that it feels overly difficult, but also as you can sense this racer has the guts of a fun arcade speedster. Sadly, a mix of confusing design choices and a lack of refinement in some areas make playing through this one a stressful endeavour. While sticking with it can bore fruitful rewards in the form of customization options, secret cars, and modes, most players will struggle to unearth this content due to a brutal start and stiff difficulty that never truly lets up. If you crave an unforgiving arcade racer, this might be more appetizing, but for everyone else, the Dreamcast held several more accessible, and sadly more engaging, options.